Picture this. It's 1944, and a young Japanese woman named Yuki Tanaka sits huddled in the back of a military transport truck, her wrists bound, her heart hammering against her ribs like a caged bird desperate for escape. The dust of the Arizona desert chokes her throat as the vehicle bounces over unpaved roads, carrying her toward what she believes will be her death. Every propaganda poster she ever saw, every military briefing she ever attended, told her the same thing. Americans are barbarians. They will torture you. They will humiliate you. They will strip away your dignity before they strip away your life. But Yuki Tanaka is about to discover that everything she's been taught is a lie. And in the most unexpected twist of fate, she's about to fall in love with the very enemy she was trained to hate. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your city and country in the comments below. And if stories of impossible love in the darkest chapters of human history move you, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you think you know about war, love, and the human capacity for connection across the deepest divides. This is a story that history tried to bury. A story of forbidden romance, impossible choices, and the kind of love that blooms in the ashes of hatred. This is the story of Yuki and Lieutenant Daniel Cooper. And I promise you, it will break your heart and put it back together again. Part 1. The World Before. Let's rewind to where it all began. Tokyo, 1938. Yuki Tanaka is 17 years old, living in a small apartment in the Shibuya district with her mother, father, and younger brother Kenji. Her father works at a textile factory, her mother takes in sewing, and Yuki herself has just completed her education at a prestigious girls' school. She's smart, curious, and gifted with languages. She speaks Japanese, of course, but also English and some French, skills that were considered valuable for a modern Japanese woman in the years before the war. The world Yuki knows is one of tradition colliding with modernity. Japan is expanding, asserting itself on the world stage, and there's a strange electricity in the air, a sense that something big is coming, though no one quite knows what. Her father reads the newspapers with a furrowed brow. Her mother worries quietly while mending clothes. And Yuki? She dreams of becoming a translator, of seeing the world beyond the narrow streets of her neighborhood. But then December 1941 arrives like a thunderclap. Pearl Harbor. War. Everything changes overnight. Within months, Yuki's world contracts. Her father is conscripted into a factory producing military supplies. Her brother, barely 16, is sent to a youth military training program. And Yuki herself is recruited into the Women's Volunteer Corps, assigned to work as a translator and nurse's aide in military hospitals. The government needs people who speak English, and Yuki's language skills make her valuable. She tells herself it's her duty. She tells herself she's serving her emperor, her country, her family. But deep down, beneath the layers of propaganda and patriotic fervor, a small part of her wonders, is this right? Is this what the world is supposed to be? The hospitals are brutal. Yuki sees young men, boys really, coming back from the front with missing limbs, with burns covering their bodies, with eyes that have seen things no one should ever see. She tends to them with gentle hands and kind words, but every day the weight grows heavier. Every day the question grows louder. What are we fighting for? By 1944, Japan is losing. Anyone paying attention can see it, though speaking such thoughts aloud is dangerous, possibly fatal. Food is scarce. Supplies are scarce. Hope is scarce. And when Yuki is no better, she dreams about him. In her dreams, they're not prisoner and guard. They're just two people meeting in a world without war. Sometimes they're walking on a beach. Sometimes they're sitting in a cafe. Sometimes they're just talking about nothing important, and that's enough. She knows it's impossible. Even if the war ended tomorrow, even if all barriers disappeared, they're from different worlds. His people killed her father. Her people killed his brother. There's too much blood between them, too much history, too much pain. But the heart doesn't understand impossibility. The breaking point comes in early January. Yuki is working late in the infirmary, reorganizing supplies, when Daniel appears in the doorway. His shift ended hours ago. He has no reason to be there. "I need to talk to you," he says, his voice strained. Yuki's heart hammers. The doctor is not here. I'm not here for the doctor. Daniel steps inside, closing the door behind him. I tried to stay away. I tried to convince myself this was nothing, but I can't do it anymore. Lieutenant Cooper. Daniel. My name is Daniel. Daniel, Yuki whispers, and even saying his name feels like crossing a line. This is dangerous. I know, believe me, I know. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. I could lose my commission. You could be transferred to another camp somewhere worse. I know all the reasons this is a terrible idea. Then why are you here? Daniel meets her eyes. Because pretending I don't have feelings for you is killing me. Because when I'm with you, I feel like myself again, like the man I was before the war. Because you're the only thing that makes sense in a world that's gone insane. Yuki feels tears burning her eyes. I am the enemy. You're not. You never were. The enemy is this war, this hatred, this idea that we're supposed to kill each other because we were born in different places. Daniel takes a step closer. You're just a woman who loves poetry and gardening, who grieves for her father, who smiles when she thinks no one is watching. You're just you, and I... He stops, swallows hard. I'm falling in love with you. The words hang in the air, enormous and terrifying. Yuki should tell him to leave. She should remind him of all the reasons this can never work. Instead, she hears herself say, I feel the same way. Daniel closes the distance between them in 2 strides. He stops just inches from her, close enough to touch, but not touching, waiting. Tell me to go. If you tell me to go, I will. I'll transfer to another camp. I'll make sure you never have to see me again. Yuki looks up at him, at this man who has shown her kindness when she expected cruelty, who has seen her as a person when the world sees only an enemy. I do not want you to go, she whispers. Daniel reaches out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she doesn't, his hand cups her cheek, his thumb brushing away a tear she didn't know had fallen. This is crazy, he murmurs. Yes, Yuki agrees. We could both be punished. Yes. It might not even survive past the war. I know. Daniel leans down, his forehead resting against hers. But I don't care. I don't care about any of it if it means I get to be near you. Yuki's hands come up, resting on his chest, feeling his heartbeat racing under her palms. What do we do? We're careful, we're smart, and we take whatever time we can get. Daniel pulls back just enough to look at her. Is that enough for you? It has to be, Yuki says. And then, rising on her toes, she closes the final distance between them. The kiss is gentle, tentative, like they're both afraid the other will disappear. But then Yuki's arms wrap around his neck, and Daniel pulls her closer, and the kiss deepens into something desperate and real. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Daniel rests his forehead against hers again. We have to be so careful. I know. If anyone finds out, I know. Yuki cups his face in her hands. But tonight, just for tonight, can we not think about the consequences? Daniel's answer is another kiss. Part 10. Secret Moments. The next few months are the most beautiful and most terrifying of Yuki's life. She and Daniel are together, but not in any way the world would recognize. They can't hold hands in public. They can't go on dates. They can't even be seen talking privately without arousing suspicion. Instead, they steal moments. 5 minutes alone in the infirmary. A conversation in the garden when other workers are too far away to hear. Notes passed discreetly, written in a combination of English and Japanese that only they understand. Daniel brings her books from the camp library, always with a slip of paper marking a particular page, a particular passage that says what he can't say aloud. Yuki leaves him flowers from the garden, each type with its own meaning in the Japanese language of flowers. Red camellias for I love you, white chrysanthemums for truth, forget-me-nots for obvious reasons. They learn each other in fragments. Daniel tells her about growing up in Oregon, about fishing with his brother in cold mountain streams, about his mother who reads poetry aloud while she cooks. Yuki tells him about Tokyo before the war, about her father teaching her to write calligraphy, about the cherry blossoms that would bloom every spring in Ueno Park. "I want to see them," Daniel says one evening as they stand in the garden, pretending to examine the tomato plants. "The cherry blossoms." "Maybe someday you will," Yuki says, though neither of them truly believes it. The danger of discovery is constant. Private Harris, a guard who's never liked Daniel, seems suspicious. He watches them, makes pointed comments about Daniel spending too much time in the infirmary, about certain prisoners getting special treatment. "Be careful of Harris," Daniel warns Yuki. "He's looking for any excuse to cause trouble." Yuki nods. They're already so careful. But how much more careful can they be? The other prisoners notice too. Tomoko, Yuki's roommate, confronts her one night after lights out. "You have feelings for the American guard," Tomoko hisses. "I've seen the way you look at him." Yuki's stomach drops. "You're mistaken." "Don't lie to me. I'm your friend, Yuki. I want to protect you." Tomoko's voice softens. "But this is dangerous. If the others find out, if the administration finds out—" "Nothing is happening," Yuki insists, the lie bitter on her tongue. "Then keep it that way. Please." Tomoko grabs her hand in the darkness. "I don't want to lose you." Yuki squeezes back. "You won't. I promise." But promises are hard to keep when your heart is pulling you in the opposite direction. In February, something happens that changes everything. News reaches the camp that American forces have landed on Iwo Jima. The battle is brutal, the casualties on both sides enormous. And among the Japanese defenders killed is someone Yuki knew, Lieutenant Takeshi Yamamoto, who trained with her brother before the war. The news hits Yuki hard. Yamamoto was kind, idealistic, someone who believed in honor and duty. And now he's dead, killed on a tiny island most people have never heard of, in a war that never should have happened. She's in the infirmary when she receives the news and she breaks down completely. Dr. Hendricks, understanding, tells her to take the rest of the day off. But where can she go? Her barracks will be full of women, and she can't let them see her like this. She ends up in the garden, behind the tool shed where no one can see her, sobbing into her hands. Daniel finds her there. He's supposed to be on perimeter duty, but something pulled him to the garden. When he sees her, crumpled on the ground, crying, his heart breaks. He knows he shouldn't. Anyone could walk by. But he can't leave her like this. "Yuki," he says softly, kneeling beside her. She looks up, eyes red and swollen. "He was my brother's friend. He was 23 years old. And now he's dead, dying for an emperor who doesn't care about him, in a war that should have ended years ago." Daniel sits down beside her, and after a moment's hesitation, pulls her into his arms. Yuki buries her face in his shoulder and sobs. He holds her, one hand stroking her hair, whispering soothing words she probably doesn't even hear. "I'm so tired," Yuki whispers when the tears finally slow. "I'm so tired of death. I'm tired of war. I'm tired of being afraid." "I know. I am too." Yuki pulls back enough to look at him. "When will it end, Daniel? When will we be allowed to just live?" "Soon," Daniel says, though he has no way of knowing if it's true. "The war can't last forever, and when it ends, we'll find a way." A way to what? To be together, really together. Not like this, not hiding and stealing moments. He cups her face in his hands. "I don't know how yet, but I refuse to believe we're going through all this for nothing." Yuki wants to believe him. She wants to believe in a future where they can be together openly. But the realist in her knows better. "Your country will never accept me. I will always be the enemy. Then we'll go somewhere else. Somewhere neither of us is from." Daniel's voice is fierce now, determined. "I don't care where we end up as long as I'm with you." "You would leave America? Your family?" "If it meant being with you? Yes." He says it without hesitation. I love you, Yuki. Not despite who you are, but because of it. You're the strongest, bravest person I've ever met, and I'm not letting you go. Yuki kisses him then, tasting her own tears on her lips. I love you too, she whispers against his mouth. So much it scares me. Good scared or bad scared? Both. Daniel laughs, and the sound is so unexpected, so full of life, that Yuki laughs too. And for just a moment, sitting behind a tool shed in a POW camp in the middle of the Arizona desert, they're happy. But happiness in wartime is borrowed. It always has to be paid back. Part 11. Discovery. The blow falls in March. Private Harris, who's been watching and waiting, finally gets his evidence. He sees Daniel slip a note to Yuki in the infirmary. It's a brief touch, fingers brushing for just a second as the paper changes hands, but Harris sees it. He reports it immediately to the camp commander, Major William Harrison. Harrison is a by-the-book officer, a man who believes in regulations and military discipline above all else. A guard fraternizing with a prisoner is exactly the kind of scandal he won't tolerate. Daniel is called to Harrison's office the next morning. He knows immediately that something's wrong. Harris is there, standing at attention with a smug expression on his face. Lieutenant Cooper, Harrison says coldly. I've received a disturbing report about your conduct with one of the prisoners. Daniel's blood runs cold, but he keeps his face neutral. Sir? Private Harris alleges that you've been engaging in inappropriate behavior with prisoner Yuki Tanaka. He claims to have witnessed you passing her notes, spending excessive time in her company, and showing her preferential treatment. Harrison leans forward. Is this true? Daniel wants to lie. Every instinct screams at him to deny everything, to protect himself and Yuki. But he's never been a good liar. Sir, I need a yes or no answer, Lieutenant. And sir, Daniel thinks of Yuki. If he denies it, they might investigate her, question her, punish her. But if he admits it, takes full responsibility, maybe he can keep her out of it. Yes, sir, he says quietly. It's true. Harris's smile widens. Harrison's face hardens. Do you understand the gravity of what you've done? Harrison demands. Fraternizing with the enemy is a court-martial offense. You could be dishonorably discharged. You could face prison time. I understand, sir. Then why? Why would you throw away your career, your honor, for a Japanese prisoner? Daniel meets Harrison's eyes steadily. Because I'm in love with her, sir. The room goes silent. Harris's mouth falls open. Even Harrison looks shocked. You're in love with her, Harrison repeats slowly, like he's trying to make sense of the words. Yes, sir. And I know it's against regulations. I know it's inappropriate, but it's the truth. Daniel straightens his shoulders. I accept whatever punishment you deem appropriate, but I ask that Miss Tanaka not be held responsible. This was my doing, my choice. Harrison studies him for a long moment. You realize she'll have to be questioned anyway. Yes, sir. I just hope you'll remember that I'm the one with power in this situation. If anyone took advantage, it was me, not her. That's not how Private Harris tells it, Harrison says. He claims she's been encouraging you, using feminine wiles to get special treatment.